evening, everyone. Going to open up the meeting with, we have a new member, Kevin O'Neill, joining us. Denise Luciano, Bob Kimball, Roger Marsan, and myself. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mike, you're going to start
All
the...
right, sure. The first item on the agenda is reorganization of the select board. Are there any nominations for chair?
I nominate Alec Rich III as chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Is there a motion to close the nominations for chair?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of Alec Rich as chair?
Aye.
Congratulations. Thank you. Are there any nominations for vice chair?
I'll nominate Roger Marsan for vice chair.
Second.
Any other nominations? Is there a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor of Roger Marsan as vice chair?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the chair can take it from here.
Thank you.
Clerk. Is there a nomination for clerk?
I'd like to nominate Bob Kimball for clerk.
Is there a
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Is there a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. All those in favor of Bob Kimball as chair?
Yes.
I mean, clerk.
Clerk.
Who do you call me?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, unanimous. All right, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. So first on the agenda, we're going to do announcements. And I believe Mr. Kimball has a specific one.
I can find my own podium here. So every year, the town goes through the process of creating a town report, which we just released about 3 days ago. And every year, we take the opportunity to recognize a citizen of Norton who has excelled and gone above and beyond. And so this year's recipient, we've decided, is Mr. Will Schneider. Would you please come up?
Gotcha.
Come on up. Ruthie, look behind you.
Surprise.
Come on up, Ruthie. Come on. You're small, we can carry you up. So it's been my pleasure to read what's in the report. I want to thank your family for helping me get this together. So, let's see. Do you want me to tell them the
No.
I'm going to anyway. So Ruthie was born on September 2nd, 1937 at Pawtucket Memorial Hospital to her parents Aurelius Ott and Emma Lombard. Ruth was raised in Pawtucket, Rhode Island and attended school in Pawtucket, where she graduated from Tolman High School. Ruth's life of service began at an early age. As an only child, Ruth often helped her friends with the chores as they would have more time to play. Ruth credits her mother as the biggest influence of her desire to help people, and church was also a very important part of her childhood. In the 8th grade, Ruth had to write a letter, paper, on a section of Pawtucket called Darlington. Never heard of it myself. Being civic-minded, she was very proud of coming in second place. The exercise would lead to the future commitment to the town of Norton. In high school, Ruthie played the clarinet, which she was able to play at the McCoy Stadium, a place she frequented later in life as a huge Paw Sox fan, and she worked at the Pawtucket Memorial Hospital. Ruthie found time while raising a family to work in the private sector. In later years, Ruthie worked at Kidstown in Attleboro, Country School in Norton, Rudra Realty in Norton, Home Instead, a florist shop, and a medical receptionist. Her proudest accomplishment was becoming a mother. She married Donald Campbell on October 18, 1958. Together they had 4 children. Ruth moved to Norton in 1973 after the divorce and married John N. Schneider Jr. John had 5 children, Ruthie had 4. So they became a very large family. Ruthie currently has 9 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. After John's death, Ruthie met George Hass, and they've been inseparable for the past 17 years. George has 4 daughters and 7 grandchildren. I've warned George that, quote, "If anything happens between you and Ruth, we have to make a choice. It was nice knowing you, Dad. And we will miss you." Ruthie is a cancer survivor. She has never stopped doing what she does best. Ruthie is always ready to help others, time of need. Even when Ruthie was busy with her expanded family, she still had time to volunteer. For years, Ruthie has been the face of the Norton Council on Aging. When the Council of Aging closed due to budget cuts in 2008, Ruthie gathered other volunteers and reopened the center after being closed for 5 years. She kept the facility open until a full-time director could take over. Ruthie was also instrumental in designing a new senior community building and the Council on Aging representative to the Permanent Building Committee. Ruthie served in the Cemetery Commission for 18 years, many times as chairperson. Ruthie has been very involved with the Friends of the Norton Senior Center for years, as well as the Norton Lions Club, most recently working with Wreaths Across America and helping the Norton Town Clerk. When residents want to vote at the local national elections, Ruthie has always been there greeting everyone with a familiar big smile. She is a go-to person to help keep us legal and moving at elections. In the recent presidential election of November 2024, Ruthie was asked to assist the temporary town clerk for the process of the national presidential election. Ruthie rose to the occasion, and thanks in large part to her effort and her invaluable experience. Together they bailed out the town with a seamless election. Ruth's devotion to the election process over the years has been instrumental in ensuring the integrity of the election. When Ruth was not helping others, she does have many interests. As a young age, Ruthie had a passion to learn to sew, and she continues to utilize that skill. Ruth also enjoys crafts, camping, working in her garden, walking the beach, collecting shells and sea glass, and of course her beloved Paw Sox. Ruthie was recently recognized as the Sun Chronicle True Santa in an honor that humbled a woman who was driven to helping others. Ruthie, to this day, is very visible in town, volunteer wherever she is needed. Ruth has been and continues to be a true friend to the town of Norton. So congratulations. I can't believe we shot. Good job, everyone. Good job. It has some pictures. There's some interesting pictures in the book also. Thank you all for coming.
Sign autographs.
All right, well, that's very well deserved. Congratulations. We have to vote to designate a member and alternate member when the designee is unavailable to fill this function of the select board to approve all warrants. So, am I the designee?
It doesn't have to be the chair, but the way we've been doing this is that the town accountant's office has been sending the warrant to whoever the designee is by LO sign, so they don't have to come in and sign, they can just sign remotely. And we'll need an alternate who will do that if the designee can't. So
Any takers?
if you're willing to do it.
I can definitely be the designee. Who would like to be the alternate?
You need to vote on that?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. I make a motion that we designate Alec Rich as the member to sign warrants.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I make a motion that we designate Roger Marsan to be the alternate member.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There we go. Okay. So, I'd like to take this moment too to congratulate all the winners in the recent town election Saturday. Kevin, who's with us now, congratulations. And Bob, I'm sorry. And also thank all the poll workers, Jill, our town clerk, and the staff, and all the Norton voters as well. So thank you very much, everybody. And if Jill and Ruthie would like to come up and possibly give us a recap on how the election went in our new town hall, that'd be great.
Good evening, Jill Seppa, Town Clerk, and Ruth. The election was smooth and the new location was embraced by the community. Welcome to new select board member, sort of new, select board members Kimball and O'Neill. We were well prepared for the election with no small thanks to Ray Cord and his team and all the election workers and Ruth Schneider and Donna Fong, who helped with a lot of behind-the-scene preparation leading up to the election. There's often many people working behind the scenes that just don't get enough acknowledgement, and not enough could be said for how many people pitch in to create a safe, accurate, good, sound election. I believe the wishes of the select board for the people of Norton to be able to utilize this beautiful building for the election were well served. And although I didn't realize I was following that presentation, I wanted to say there are people who are helpful, and then there are people who go the extra mile. And only Ruth and I will know the distance she has gone to welcome me into the community and assist in orienting me to be able to serve the people of Norton. And I am very grateful.
The election, I feel, went very, very well using the new town hall. And I believe we could have all our elections here in the future. Maybe a little rearranging of a few things, but I think we could come here. And I want to thank everybody tonight for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Joe.
And I just want to thank the highway for all the work they did in advance to set things up for the election.
Oh, sure. And the record and his group, Lima.
I just wanted to hand out the official results and
Okay.
minutes for you to have for your records.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, well, terrific. Thank you very much, ladies.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And let's see, next up, update on the Nelson Senior Community Center outstanding punch list items.
So just to give you an update on some of the punch list items, Vertex is working with the contractor on the issue with the roof. And they've determined that early in the day the shingles are fine, but later in the afternoon it looks like there's some buckling. So they're working with the contractor on that to find out what the cause is and what the solution will be to that. The only other issue that is still outstanding, there's an outside water faucet that the plumber was going to work on that this week. Hopefully they got out there. And also we're waiting for a Quaker window. There's some windows that the tracks need to be worked on, and they removed damaged screen they had 8 damaged screens that are being repaired. Asphalt, the asphalt rose up in an area, and they're working on that for a solution to that, and that'll be a separate issue that they'll address. And also the grass, waiting to see, they went back out with a weed preventer and did some more seeding, and wait to see how that takes.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Mike, is there somebody who is the contact person in town hall that if there are issues with the buildings that they can be in touch with?
Anyone can get in touch with me if there's a issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
is this something that's on the agenda every time we meet? If not, we should have this update every time we have a meeting, just to keep people informed how things are going.
I agree.
Okay. If we could do that.
And on the old town hall, you can see that the brick work looks like it was completed this week, and they're working on getting the windows installed, and then they'll be working on the interior. So hopefully by the end of this month, everything's done.
Good. Thank you. So, next up is discuss future joint meeting with the Economic Development Committee. I believe this is for, just so they can deliver any progress update on initiatives that they're currently working on. If anyone wanted to elaborate.
Yeah, I'd like to throw in that, I over the years, I've felt that we could get more participation from the group. I think we have some opportunities coming up that we need to have an active EDC, and perhaps have them come to the meeting so we can discuss some of the ideas that we have, maybe some of the ideas they have about increasing commercial industrial tax base. And that's pretty much the purpose of the committee. And we have a couple pieces of land in town I'd like to discuss with them to see if there's something we might be able to do something with. So if we could have them come in, I believe they're still active, right? I mean, they still around.
Mike, is still there, active?
Yeah, if we could have them come in just to give each other an update of what's happening, would be great.
Sure.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Through you, Chair.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am, sorry.
It'd probably be good practice, I think, all board and committees that we have appointed, to have them periodically come in, just to kind of update us on what's going on with the statuses.
100% agree. Yep. Yep. Okay, which segues to, future joint meeting with the Water Sewer Commissioners as well. I think the biggest elephant in the room there is the PFAS requirements that are coming down very quick, and how they're handling them, how they're looking forward, to be able to meet those requirements. What avenues are they, going down, looking towards to be able to do that? Because that requires significant capital investment if we keep it all in-house. So,
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I mean, also, the subject of water comes up all the time, and unfortunately, they get blamed for a lot of it, but it isn't really their fault. So I think it's great, it would be a great opportunity for both groups to get together and talk about maybe some of the solutions or ideas we might be able to come up with to improve the water quality in town. And again, if we can get them in here and talk about it, I think we can collectively support each other and try to come up with some creative ways to make things happen.
Sure. Sure. Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, so next is transfer of funds from the Cyrus Hicks account to the town general fund. Mr. Kimball, can you elaborate on that?
Yes, at the last Finance Committee meeting, money was transferred from the Highway Department into the library, I'm sorry, not the library, into the Council on Aging Community Building to help get a full-time person in that new position, which, considering we have a brand new building, there's a lot more responsibilities over there, a lot more time it takes to help the people. The Cyrus Hicks account was established back in the 1880s for the purpose of helping to fund the town mostly in their cemeteries. It was designed for the purpose of maintaining our cemeteries. The cemetery department in Norton has a budget just over $300,000 a year, and I think it's important that people understand that the cemetery department does a very good job, but cutting 2 people from the position from the DPW has really made an impact on the department, both sides of the department. So the suggestion was that we are able, as trustees, the select board, the trustees of the account, we are able to move money from that account to help subsidize the town budget through just by making an appropriation and a transfer to the general fund. So it's something we're going to consider later on tonight after this meeting. But I would encourage the board to support the request. There's $101,000 in interest, and that's the only part of it we can touch. The last I knew, the Hicks account was just over $11 million. And to kind of give you an idea how fast something like that can grow, in 1995, when I first became a selectman, the budget with the account was just over $3 million. So you can show what 20, almost 30 years later, it's grown to this proportion. But again, the purpose of the account is to fund the cemetery. So it's within the guidelines of our request to ask for an additional amount of money to be put into that. And I don't know what that is. I can tell you it's $101,000 in interest. Can't touch the principal. We protected it a few years ago, but we can transfer the interest into the general fund. And it's my understanding, and I'm talking to Jared Ferrera, who's the DPW director, that $80,000 will cover that position along with clothing allowance and everything else that's needed. I don't think we need to take any more than that. I mean, that's up to up to the board itself, but that would still put us under the required amount to run the department. So it's, I believe it's fully within the guidelines of the trust to allow that to happen.
Okay. Thank you. Any
Through
questions?
Chair, yeah, bunch, sorry. So you're talking about adding this money for the upcoming fiscal cycle?
2026.
Okay. So we haven't even reviewed the budget yet. What money are you talking about that's moved from the highway department to the senior center? That's from past cycle?
That's,
This coming cycle?
yes.
Okay. And then the $80,000 was to be used for a head count for what?
The $80,000 would replace the person from the highway department. So a position in highway was cut. Last year was a highway cut. This year they cut another person, that's 2. And that money that was cut from the highway was given to the COA community building to hire another full-time person. What this does, it backfills The $80,000 will backfill the position so we can bring one DPW worker, cemetery worker back, and backfill that position. So instead of losing 2 people, it'll go back to the one that they lost last year. It's just replacing one person. And if you think about the grand scheme of things, if you look out the window, it's a perfect example. You know, their responsibilities have grown tremendously, not only between the new buildings we have, the amount of grass they have to cut, because they cut the grass too, not just the highways, I mean the cemeteries, they do all town buildings. And we've got a lot more territory to now take care of, and in addition to that, we have the new bike path, which soon will be turned over to the town that they'll be responsible for. So cutting one person out of that department is going to have a major impact on it. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to be creative here. The town has already appropriated $200,000 from the Hicks account going into the general fund. This would increase it to $280,000 that will go into the general fund. And that $80,000 will be used to pay for that, instead of cutting that position, then run it again for another year.
And that's fully loaded with benefits and everything. And I'm hearing it from you, but it's Jared and or Mike that identified a need for it?
Sure.
Yes, there's definitely a need for it, and Bob already put it better than I probably could, but there's been an exponential growth with all the facilities that we have to take care of. Losing a position would have been bad enough if we were trying to sustain what we had originally, but now, with, like I said, the bike, like Bob said, about 4 miles of bike path. I kind of gave some numbers last time, but in the ballpark of 20% increases in some cases with the mowing on the, between the bike path and the additional parking lots, the plowing, everything. I mean, I could go into it all, whatever questions you have. But it would definitely be a need, and if we could at least backfill that position, it'd be very helpful to continue to maintain. The cemeteries alone, I don't know if people realize there's 4 main cemeteries, but there's actually 16 cemeteries that we take care of. Everything from tree trimming, grass cutting. I'll save all the details. But
Thanks, Jared.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to withhold my opinion on the actual movement of the funds until we understand the full budget a little bit better, because I have a feeling we'll be picking between who we're going to let go of headcount, because I think it's going to be inevitable. So if we're balancing priorities, we need to look at the full gamut of what budgets are impacted and what headcounts are impacted first.
Okay, anybody else?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Kimball, the interest, the 101 that's remaining in the interest, is the 200,000 that's already being transferred part of that interest bucket as well?
Well, it came from the interest account. So $200,000 has already been appropriated. If you look at your spreadsheet in the back, you'll see
And that's from interest?
that's
as well?
already been earmarked.
Okay.
So
So the 101 is remaining interest. Gotcha.
The other concern is that 80,000 helps this year, but this is going to be recurring expense ongoing, so we need to think about future funding as well.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. Next item, discuss updated warranty list of concerns for town hall and community building. Do you already touch on that?
More or less. I guess what the question must be on warranty list, that's something when the projects are being closed out, we'll get a list from DOPM of all the warranties that are on all the different things and what service is needed each year for all the different systems.
Okay, that's for both buildings still, right, Mike? How about the athletic complex? With the landscaping things, did we get that from them?
I don't remember. The building committee might have gotten something, but
Yeah, okay. All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Mike, do we have a list of warranty items of things that we know have to be repaired already?
that have to be repaired already.
Yeah. I'm talking about like the cement right out front of the building. I mean, is there like a punch list of things that they know that are going to have to be done?
Jim's train. Out here, as far as the patio, I mean, I wouldn't call it a warranty thing, and we haven't accepted it, so it's not technically a warranty item, yet it's still a punch list item.
Yeah, the warranty items, both buildings were moved into around October and November. So the warranties will run out for those items October, November this year. We are still holding back the building committee for the punch list items. And they're crossing paths back and forth. What's punch list, what's warranty, but it's getting done. I brought up this item at the building committee because I'm concerned that with the completion of the demolition and remodeling of the old new town hall, whatever you want to call it, the fire department addition, that come around June 1st, Vertex will be gone, although they'll still be supervising, and M. O'Connor will be gone. So there won't be anybody here to answer the day-to-day questions. The town manager, the people who are in charge of the buildings may go to the town manager and have a question, and he may go to Vertex, but a lot of people are used to somebody going to the town hall or going to the senior center and fixing something within 2 or 3 days. Or if we have, I can't think of what we had for warranty items. I don't know. Most of it came under fixing by the contractor, like the screens, technically a warranty item, but the contractor showed up, Seaver showed up last week, took 8 screens to be repaired and rejuggled 3 or 4 other screens so they fit. They also went around and looked at other things that are going on, but my concern is that when October and November comes, the town probably already has an electrician. The town already has HVAC contracts with people. I don't know if they're going to stick with the warranty people who do that, or if they should be aware that they're going to have to go to whoever the town has contracted. In and above that, even if the lawn isn't fixed, and I can't think, oh, well, the plaza, you didn't really go into the town hall yet, but if the plaza's not done, that will still come under the punch list items and not a warranty issue. So Seaver and M. O'Connor and Vertex will all be in and concerning, and the building committee, we'll be all discussing this and trying to straighten it out. Those will not be warranty items at the time. They're like the water faucets, we're not sure whether it's a warranty item or a contractor's item, but the contractor is fixing them. Now, whether the contractor is going to the supplier and saying it's warrant, I'm not a builder, I don't claim to be anything other than a town citizen on a committee, but we're trying to work these things out as best we can, but I just don't want us left in a lurch that something doesn't work right in either one of the buildings come December 1st, and we're not sure, or who's ever left in charge of the building is not sure whether they go to the warranty contractor or to the town contractor who they may have a contract with to take care of the HVAC items in the buildings or plumbing or heating or whatever. So I did not hear, somebody mention something about concrete. I didn't hear. We're still, I believe next week they're going to do the final sidewalks, and then at least 2 weeks from then they're going to do the final blacktopping in the Publix parking lot here. And they got to acid wash the brick on the addition. The windows are in. We have a concern about the acid wash and the windows and the frames, and they've been warned about it 3 or 4 times. They're going to be held accountable, but M. O'Connor's, the contractor for the town hall, is pretty sure they're gonna be out of here by June 1st. So the town will own everything and it'll be under warranty, but we occupied the buildings while the warranty was going on. And I know that's a long road down, but that's the best I can answer.
Just on those, we have actually gone out to bid, so we'll be covered by the warranty, as Jim said, for the year. But we've gone out to bid for elevator, HVAC, different systems, with the understanding that they're covered by warranty till October, November, and then whoever the low bidder is would then be the contractor would go to.
Okay.
Mr. Chair? Hi. Jim, thanks again for all the work that you've done to help us out with both of these buildings. Do we have an updated list of all of the punch list items and warranty and/or warranty items that need to be done on these?
I know what you're driving at. We have a list of concerns from the senior center that we've been working on for 6 months. We've slowly eliminated most of them, and that's probably the list I see you thumbing through in the large print. We have never got a punch list from either contractor about what's outstanding. If you're requesting that, I can go to Steve Kirby, who is the OPM, and get that and have it for the next meeting. But we have never got a architect contractor's punch list. We've only got a list of concerns from the senior center.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I would just like to see what still has to be done. Who has the list of things that haven't been completed yet or are still in process of being done?
Well, that list that you got tonight on the senior center is the most recent.
That seems like that's just a list of concerns that came from the people at the senior center. That doesn't seem like it's an acknowledgement from the contractor.
I think
Through
definitely.
the chairman, as far as I know, I don't know which list you got, because to be honest with you, we've gotten like 15 of these lists, and Mr. Kirby and the architect answers all these, and he produces a secondary list with answers on them. Most of the answers say it's a warranty item. Some of the answers, like the screens, they showed up last Wednesday, and I was there, and we fixed the screens. We looked at the water faucets, a couple other things. Here, we haven't got any complaints, concerns. I have to be careful of my language. We haven't got any concerns from this building on a list. They've come up at our construction meetings, like we've had diesel fumes that we had a problem with that we took care of, and stuff like that, but the contractor's been taking care of it. As far as that list goes, there is another list out, and Bob and Kevin are familiar with the list. I don't know if that's the list that Steve Kirby gave back with all the answers. At the bottom, it was supposed to be in red or blue or something, but colors don't copy, and
His answers are at the bottom.
the answers are on the bottom for those concerns.
So we don't have a list of any concerns of anything about the town hall, just the senior center?
I believe so. Whenever we have a concern, it's usually, we have construction meetings every Tuesday afternoon now. Now they've been switched to every other week. Usually the town manager comes in and it'll go, somebody's got a concern about a window not opening, somebody's got another concern, like you had trouble with the AV stuff. I'm not talking about your last meeting. I'm talking about those operating, but we had the contractor come in and do that. Yeah. Mike is very good about bringing up the smaller concerns, and usually Ted, who is the on-site OPM for O'Connor, will come in and try to solve those concerns, or he'll call the subcontractor, and the subcontractor will come in. So, no, we don't have a list of concerns from the town hall at all, and if there are any, they're very few and far between.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the list you guys have on the senior center work need to be done, that was the list that was presented to us at our last meeting last week. So
I'm
this
sorry.
is the most current, this
No,
copy
that
is
was,
the most
that
current.
was presented at Monday nights.
Right.
It was, I think they usually date the top of them, that one's not dated. That was presented at Monday night's, building committee meeting, and at the same time, the architect was there from VHB, and the Vertex man was there, Steve Kirby, and they went over, Mr. Haas represented the senior center, and he brought up each item, and one of the two people on our side of the bench brought up the solutions they had, or the solutions that they thought they had, and we went over every item that's on there, and sometimes, well, in that we've dealt with this for 6 months, they're not happy with the solutions we're presenting them, so.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Mike, do we have a list of items at the town hall that still need to be completed?
The OPM has that, I can get that for you.
All right, just because, and there are, I don't know if it's warranty items or if it's punch list stuff, like all the concrete that's cracked up front. I don't know if that's going to be which bucket that falls in, but you know, there are things that need to be done that I think that we just need to stay updated on those things and just make sure that all of these things get taken care of, hopefully before October, before we get into the year. And then we're trying to chase people down to get them done.
Yeah, the concrete plaza is an ongoing issue, and my answer is it's with lawyers right now, because we've stopped using the contractor that did that concrete, and we've got another concrete person that did the concrete work for the addition, and M. O'Connor is trying to work with Capital Concrete, I believe, is the people who did the plaza, and Capital has thrown the lawyer card in there, and M. O'Connor's lawyer is talking to Capital's lawyer, and we've sort of stepped back at this stage of the game to let them work it out, because we want to get it done. If the architect's feeling and the clerk of the works feeling is it should be replaced. Capital and M. O'Connor sort of feel that they can buff things out, let's say, and get it to what the samples are. And we're in disagreement with that, the lawyers are in disagreement with that, but we're working on it. The lawn, I think the lawn at the senior center is going to be the same way. We had weeds and we had crabgrass here at the town hall. The contractor that did the landscaping here remediated that and eliminated it, and we now have green grass. At the senior center, the landscaping contractor chose to just aerate this spring, aerate the lawn and reseed. He's saying he's put chemicals down for weeds and crabgrass, but if you walk that site, it's not what I'd want around my house. And I think we're going to have a problem with that. We also have a problem with the blacktop up there that we've got to remediate. The black on your list, the blacktop is raised from, we think, frost heaves, and there's got to be some remediation of that. But you know, we're working on everything on that list. Some of it, the people from the senior center say it's a code violation, and in actuality, it's not a code violation. The architects looked at it, the subcontractors have looked at it, but the people at the senior center are not happy with the answer, so they keep bringing it up, and we keep giving them the same answer.
Thank you again for all of your work, Joe.
Oh, it's fun.
Anybody else? Any questions? No. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
can I ask a question?
Of course.
Zach Tillis, 3 Richmond Drive. The taxpayers have spent millions of dollars on these buildings. Putting aside everything Mr. Flaherty said and assuming these contractors make good on everything and in 6 months' time they're gone, what is the plan to maintain them? Do we have a maintenance person who's doing, I don't know, everything from scuff repair to putting fertilizer on the grass to just general building maintenance? I know, at the schools they have janitors who do painting and touch up and whatever goes on. I would expect that most people want to see this place look the same 3 years from now as it does now, but it does get used. And if you're not doing maintenance and I don't know, I'm just asking what the plan is moving forward outside of the general contract. Thank you.
So on an as-needed basis, we'll call people in when we get the warranty list items from the contractor. We'll also get all the paint colors, and so we'll know what we need for paint. And hopefully Jared will be taking good care of the grass on the outside. But on the inside, if we need some contractor to come in, we'll have to bring him in.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, next up, vote to approve the following invoice payroll warrants and need a motion for each as we didn't have anybody designated at the start of the meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we approve the payroll warrant for week ending April 26th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we approve the invoice warrant dated May 1st.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And we're going to, under old business, next item, we are going to bump up the discussion on repairing King Philip Road ahead of the town meeting articles. So, with that being said, we had I think we have a plan moving forward with the capital committee to be able to get some sort of reprieve for the immediate term to get some patching on the road. We're going to bump up the highway budget for it, transfer some funds to be able to get that patched for the time being. There is, we're looking into options for a longer term plan, but the highway department was constricted with the repairs because of their budgetary numbers. So we have a plan for that, and we're waiting on council. We're bound by some red tape stuff, if you will, with being at a private road. So there's certain procedures that we have to follow moving forward. But for the time being, we have a rough plan to transfer some funds to get the highway budget bumped up for maintaining minimum maintenance on the private roads. So,
Mr. Chair?
yes, sir.
Once again, I'd like to say, I know there's a lot of people here from King Philip Road, and many of us are as frustrated as you as to what we can do and what we can't do. There seems to be a plan in place that the capital committee is trying to work with to try to get some relief to get the road repaired. In the long term, we have to come up with a better solution. We can't, repairing this road to a minimum standard doesn't do us all any good. So in the future, we are going to be reaching out to you folks to try to get together and come up with a plan and see how we can work together to make this a better road for the town, for you folks to live on. I know that doesn't help you a lot right now. None of us are happy with the inability of this board to come up with a solution long-term right now. But I think it's in the short term, it's going to give you some relief, and hopefully in the long term, we can work together to come up with a plan. I don't know what else we can do right now to repay that road.
Yes, ma'am?
Can I
Come on up, yeah, come on up. State your name and address, please.
I will. May I approach for a second?
I'm sorry?
May I approach? Approach, I
Sure,
have
sure,
stuff for
sure.
you guys. Okay. All right. So, because you were here last time,
Thank you.
and
Oh, I saw it in person.
and there's always that. Okay, but those were given to me by a neighbor. And so that's for your record. Just put that on record. Make sure I have the information. Okay, because there are some new people here.
When you get done, I'd like to get your information before you make sure I have your contact.
This is just an update, this is just a recap from the last meeting, because, welcome,
Thank you.
because we know we got some new people
I busted
here.
down your road, by the way.
You
I
do?
do, yes.
How do you like
Very
that road?
carefully, Yes.
Okay, so. You need one too, I know, you need one too. Sherry Savoy, 115 King Philip Road. What I put together was a recap of the last meeting, and because I wanted to make sure if there was any new selectmen here, I wanted to make sure that it was heard and they received a copy of it. I felt that was important from the recap from the meeting we had. I apologize, I was in the ladies' room, so I did not hear what the opening statements were at all. So if we could just revisit that for a minute, because I went to the ladies' room.
So,
Sorry.
Yeah, so basically in a nutshell, working on a plan to increase the highway department's budget for maintaining, the level of maintenance of private roads. And right now it's $1,500 a year. And obviously that's.
In patching, a lot.
It's not anywhere near what it should be. It's been that amount for as long as any of us can remember. So,
Right.
Obviously, we agree that that needs to be bumped up immediately, which we're doing, to be able to get the highway department out there to,
But you understand the patching doesn't work, though.
well, it's going to be better than what it is now. It's what we can do right now.
Alec, the patching doesn't work. What's happening with the patching, and I know you were here the last meeting, is it's just coming back out of the holes. So what's the point of the town spending $1,500 every time they patch it? You're throwing away money, right? Because it's coming back out of the holes. It's pointless. Why don't you put that money aside, times it by how many times Jared needs to come down the road? You know?
So with that being said, we can't do that and leave it how it is. The problem being, the fastest that this is going to work, the way if we can do it, which we're still checking into legally, if we can do it, it's going to be millions of dollars and have to pass at town meeting as well.
What is going to cost $1 million?
Millions.
What is going to cost millions of dollars?
That road having to be brought up to code with conservation, drainage, those types of things. And it's a timely process. So the patching is what we're trying to do to get some sort of immediate relief.
Is this something that because Paul sent me an email regarding the road, okay? So my understanding that, again, in your email, you were discussing various options, right? The cost of the options, how to pay. Our conservation focused on options associated with emergency repairs, as this would be faster than the process. Is that what you meant, Paul? Was basically the patching in that email? I know you can't
You
speak
can
yet.
come up, because I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it's in the paperwork that I just gave you. So I have all the emails that were sent to me by Paul.
You'll have to forgive us, we don't have any
No,
of that.
no, I gave it to you.
Well,
It's all in that paperwork. I know, I'm just explaining. I can read it all. No, I understand. I can read it all to you. You don't have that. But I did propose it to you guys so you would have the information in front of you. I mean, Selectman Bob Kimball reached out to me, which was wonderful. I reached out to Stephen Howitt regarding this situation, hoping there could be some state funds. I know in my notes that the stabilization money was mentioned, and state money was mentioned. I'm just wondering where it is to help us do the road. And I get it, Alec, it's a process, I get it. But, that's what we have to lean on, because it was mentioned at the last meeting.
So those are still being looked into, what we
Right.
can and can't do.
Right.
There are some legalities, because that is legally a private road. So there's liabilities that we have to be concerned with. Plus, there's also a bunch of other private roads in town that we've been doing a level of maintenance on, almost as a courtesy on private roads.
Right. But weren't we going to move forward to try to get the rest of the road accepted, the 3,300 feet that we have left?
That, I don't know where that is right now. I don't know if that is going to be an option. That would have to be, if I'm not mistaken, if anybody can elaborate on that. What is that? Okay, please do.
What we're talking about here is Chapter 90 funding.
Right.
Chapter 90 funding, we cannot use Chapter 90 funding, which the state gives to us, a portion of it, 3/4 of it. We can't use that on a private way. It's not allowed. So the only option we have is to come up with engineering for layout and bounds of a new road, which would include drainage, with all the other issues that would come along, sidewalks, everything that the state would require us to do under the guidelines of Chapter 90. In the case of King Philip Road, where it's such an old road, and cottages were built there many, many years ago, if we try to follow the requirements of Chapter 90 to lay it out and do it in the proper manner, it's going to end up being, no one's going to have a front yard. The yards are going to go, because we're going to have to go 40 to 50 feet. We're going to have to go 40 to 50 feet in order to make it legal. In addition to that, you've got one area where I think the worst area is where conservation's on the left-hand side of it. It's kind of a marshy area there. That will require some kind of drainage, some kind of program they'll have to work with also. So when the chair suggests it's going to cost millions, if we go with the Chapter 90 and try to approve and lay out the road and make it legal, so that we can use state funding, it would in fact cost us millions of dollars to do it that way. You're giving us estimates from a private contractor to do the road. It falls into a totally different category that we can't really address, because we have to go with prevailing wages. We have a state bid list that we have to follow. So even though you're getting pretty good costs on repairs, we can't do it. You can do it, but we can't do it. So that's where the chair is trying to clarify it. We don't know what we can and cannot do with this private road. My own personal opinion is that the road was paid by us when we did the reconstruction with the water and the sewer lines, when we did that project 20 years ago. We created the paved areas as part of that project. Are we responsible for it today? I don't know. I think we have to look more into it and find out what we can and cannot do legally. My concern is this, and I don't think it's going to happen. The chair is suggesting they're going to throw another $10,000 into that account so that they can go in there and do some patchwork on the road, which will put a small Band-Aid on it. My concern is we need to continue to explore the options on how we can handle this road. I'm not sure what we're talking about when we're talking about other private roads that haven't been accepted by the town. I will tell you that when you build a condominium development, part of the guidelines of that condo development are that yes, you are going to put in a road, and yes, you are going to put in sidewalks, and yes, it is private. But the town has no legal obligation to do anything with it. This is different. This is a road that's been there for God, long before me. And I don't know, that it hasn't been laid out and hasn't been done properly, other than the first 700 feet, I believe. That part of the road was done because that was the easy part. Beyond that is the hard part. And it's gonna cost a lot of money to fix it. And I know you reached out to Representative Howard, because he reached out to me
Correct.
and asked me to get back to you guys. We have a lot more work to do. At the same time, I think we have to assure you that we're not gonna let this fall apart. It's too late in the budget process right now for us to come up with some financing to make this happen, other than $10,000 that the chair is suggesting, that the capital improvement committee is suggesting. It's gonna cost us a heck of a lot more than that. But we'll have to figure out a way to do it.
Well, my understanding at the last meeting that you had some questions of how or why the rest of the road was not accepted. Did you find the answers to that at all, Bob?
All I can tell you is the first 700 feet was laid out and bound
Yeah.
legally, because that was easy. They
Yeah.
didn't take anybody's property so much.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's pretty wide through there. You've got garages on the other side, with
Yeah.
house on the other side.
Yeah.
So that's the easy part. If you start looking beyond Samoset, I always must say Seminary, Samoset,
Mm-hmm.
then it gets tight, and you're starting to infringe on people's property. We're gonna have to take 40 to 50 feet to make it work.
Well, Nicholas had a plot plan that states the road is 40 feet, though. The interesting part, and the legislation was there, it was up to the Board of Selectmen that decided what was being accepted and what wasn't being accepted. It was up to the board. So it doesn't make sense that Nicholas would have a plot plan that shows the road being 40 feet, whether it is or not.
Mr. Chairman, if I can clarify that?
Yes, sir.
What you're looking at is an assessor's map. I gave those to Nick.
Yeah.
What those are assessor's maps. They're not accurate. They give certain guidelines, it's not a plot plan.
Yeah,
It's an assessor's map. And I don't think the assessor's here,
but that was for the sewer and the water, wasn't it, Nick?
but what that shows you is what it's supposed to be. It doesn't, even the property lines, I'll give you an example. I'm involved with the Historic District Commission, right? The Historic Society rather.
Mm-hmm.
There's a garage next to us. If you look at that same map, it goes right through the garage. Well, it's not accurate. Those are designed for assessment. They're not exactly designed for like a layout of the property, like a surveyor would use. It's not quite that way. I don't know how that 40 feet got on there, but if you were to go out and measure it,
Well,
you might be surprised how
you
far.
don't think you have to measure it.
I think
We
you'd
know
be
how we
surprised.
can get up and down that road,
I
yeah?
think you'd be surprised how far it would go into the property. If you use an example of the marshy area, right, just beyond the split there, if you were to measure 40 feet from that,
Mm-hmm.
whoever owns the house, I think that might be one of them, owns the house along there, you're gonna find out that's gonna go in quite a ways. And we may have to take 50 feet in order to comply with chapter 9.
Well, there should be a way to do it. I mean, I know Alec was very determined to put it through as an emergency to get it done. I mean, I think he said that at least a half a dozen times in the last meeting. You know, I was told the other day by a resident that's been there for years, we even had a sinkhole and a car landed in it. And the town wouldn't pay for the repairs of the car. I mean, if this is what it's gonna come down to, it's ridiculous. You know, you got we have beautiful homes there. I paid a lot of money for my home, you know, in these times, and then did more work on it to live on a crappy street. Just not fair. There's gotta be some way, somehow, even if you just straighten the road and made it smoother for everybody temporarily, so nobody has to worry about driving up or walking or bicycling on that road? Does the town want to have something worse happen? I mean, it goes all back to, what are you waiting, like the intersections that need lights? What are you waiting for? Somebody to die? Because this is where this road is at. And then you guys are gonna have a bigger problem. I'm just being realistic. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it's just being realistic. There's gotta be some way, somehow, whether we can get some state money or something to do this road, because you've wasted, the town has wasted the taxpayers' money that pay big money to have those lake homes to patch it for how many years? How much money did you waste? Look at your budget on that. Sad, you know? And you all guys have lived here probably a lot longer than I have, if you even live in this town. I know the rich family's been here. My father knew your father, you know? And it's like, and I go by that house all the time and I cry.
So with that being said, we understand.
You understand the frustration, I know, but there's gotta be some way, somehow.
So I hope you can try and understand the frustration on our level here. We're trying everything we can possibly do. In the red tape, it's terrible. It's absolutely awful. Every time you think you uncover a way to do it, there's something blocking it. And it shouldn't be that way, but this is where we are in 2025.
Well, clarify for me, Alec, what was Steve Hornsby talking about an $80 million budget? Where does that money go to? Do we have an $80 million,
Town budget?
Yeah,
That's the town budget.
yeah.
Town
We can't take a little bit of that? Fix the
Well,
road?
it's not necessarily the amount of money, it's more the private road issue. So in liability and.
Yeah, put it in that way, we should be able to keep it that way.
And then there's other issues, you know, as soon as you touch it, because it's a highly sensitive area of critical concern with conservation, now that just adds, I mean, that just, the multiplying factor of that is just outrageous. So you have beautiful homes on a beautiful street with a beautiful view on a beautiful lake.
What beautiful street? Wait, whoa, what? We have beautiful homes on a crappy street.
Well, you know,
You're depreciating my home, you understand this? You understand this? All those homes that are on that street are depreciating because of the road.
I have one question. Did you have, when you bought your house, did a real estate agent or attorney tell you that that was a private road?
Yeah, and it's documented too.
No.
It's a public road. Every house on that street, I brought this up at the last meeting, that I researched, and you can do it on Google, Redfin, Zillow, wherever these real estate agents post it. Nick is a real estate agent, broker, excuse me. List the road frontage is public. Every single sales listing.
Yeah, they're not responsible for anything.
But again, you just asked me that question. They're not responsible. Where are they getting their information from?
Well,
The town. I used to be a real estate agent. I look at the property cards. I look at things. So somewhere, what got me with Selectman Bob Kimball had a concern in 1995, how this was set up and how it was decided. Somebody missed something somewhere. Somebody didn't sign somethings, and how many years ago was that? 30 years ago.
I can answer that question. So in 1995, when they set up the first 700 feet, Carl Jacobs was the highway superintendent. And we hire professionals to tell us what to do.
Sure.
We don't come up with all this stuff ourselves. Carl came to us and said, I can accept the first 700 feet because that's pretty much laid out the way it's supposed to be. Beyond that, it would require taking properties and taking some additional steps, engineering and all that stuff to make it work. That's why we stopped at 700 feet. At that time, as I recall, and I'm getting kind of fuzzy up there were some landowners in that area that we said we're going to be taking so many feet of this and so many feet of that, and they said, you're not touching my land. So we were running into some opposition back then about how we were going to widen that street. It would have been a heck of a lot cheaper to do it then than it's going to cost us now, that's for sure. I think what this board is trying to do is we're trying to get some counsel on how to handle it. As far as the funding goes, as you'll see we have a budget, we have budgets here in front of us. We're in the 95th hour now. I mean, we're right there. And town meeting is May 19th. We can't figure out a way, if we had to come up with some money, how we could designate it legally to help you guys out. We need some time.
Oh, no, that's fine, time is fine, but I need you guys to be positive about this. Like, we need to feel that something's gonna happen. Like, and again, I mean, I know it's early on, I get it, and I'm presenting you guys and girls as much things as I can to pull out. I gave you the general laws as well, okay, that I looked up on mass.gov. Basically what towns do for the roads and the repairs and what they're responsible for, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, in those general laws, it basically states you're responsible to upkeep that road, basically, even if it's a private way.
So that's what we're trying to find out.
Right, well, it's in the general laws, and I gave them to you,
I'm
Bob.
not an attorney. And
No, but I know.
I'm never going to pretend to be.
Somebody wrote them.
But I want an attorney, our attorney, to look at that and give us some guidance, because we don't know what we can and cannot do. All we can tell you is, the biggest thing we've been working on the last week or two is where can we get some money? And it's not there.
Right.
You mentioned the $80 million budget. Well, there's shortfalls in that $80 million.
Well, that's why it needs to be, didn't we discuss it going to a town meeting and it being accepted? If the road gets accepted, we're good.
Okay, here's the process. We're going to accept the road. Let's go through the process.
Okay.
We have to appropriate money at town meeting
Mm-hmm.
to do the engineering work. It has to do with layouts. We have to do all the surveying, everything. It's going to cost a few $100,000 to do that. What they do, the engineers will come back and say, here's the plan. This is how it's going to work. Second, we have to go to all of you folks and say, we're going to take your land. We have to have easements. We're going to take your land. We have to negotiate a deal with each and every homeowner on that street in order to make it happen. Once we've gone through that process, we go out for funding to make the road legal. The state's going to require us to make a legal road out of it, which is going to include sidewalks. So it's not just the 40 to 50, that's the way it is today. If you accept the street,
There's not enough room to do it.
That's what we're trying to
But
tell
you guys put the road in, you
We're trying-
paved it at
we're
one
trying-
time.
Excuse me, let me.
I'm sorry, but,
The point is, we're trying to figure out how to do it. And
yeah,
we're trying to figure out, I'm sure, without putting sidewalks in. I mean, that's not the intent, but we can't do it legally right now. We can't take town funds today, go to town meeting in a few weeks and say, we're gonna give you $250,000 to do it. We can't do that without figuring out how we legally can do it.
but you can throw away money
How are we throwing money away?
by patching $1,500 every time Jared comes out to patch those holes, and it's not there anymore.
That 1,500.
That's not throwing away money,
That's all we're talking about.
but that's what I'm saying, in a way.
That
That's why I'm like, just
that
keep putting it in
1,500
the
is what
cookie
I'm
jar.
tired of.
I know, but what I'm saying is just put it in a cookie jar.
You need to let us speak.
Go ahead, Mike.
I
Sorry.
was just saying that 1,500 that Jared has in his budget is for the entire town. What that money is meant for, if the fire department comes to him and says, I can't get down such a street because there's a pothole that's so big I can't get the truck down, he has money to go fill that pothole. And I was talking with other towns today, say, what do you do? And they said, well, if our fire truck can get around potholes on private roads and they can get down to the end of the street, we don't do anything. But they do the same thing. We have a small amount of money, and if for emergency purposes, a fire truck can't get down the street, we'll go out and fill that hole.
Dang, I don't know how they're getting a fire engine down that road and then it's turning around and coming back, I really don't know. But anyway, can we do something, I know, I'm gonna let you talk in 2 seconds. Can you like patch big sections? would that be considered like the worst sections? Can you at least for now patch the crappy areas?
Mr. Chairman, for clarification, 1,500 is already in the budget. The Capital Improvement Committee suggested we throw another $10,000 on top of that. So now we have $11,500. What the DPW director can do with that, I don't know. But what the Capital Improvement Committee is trying to do is throw a few dollars in there to fix it. It's a Band-Aid. We totally get it.
Yeah,
It's not money it's money we can come up with in the near future. So perhaps the question should be asked of Jared, through you, Mr. Chair. What can he do with that $10,000? Can he go in there and can he kind of grind it up a bit and put some new asphalt down? What can he do with it?
no. Well, we have patches there. There are sections with patches.
So, and I think that's the discussion we had today, Bob, to sit down with Jared and see what he can do with that, and to discuss with the town council, conservation, engineers, what can we do in the future? Unfortunately, it doesn't happen overnight. You know, in Barrowsville Court, we had all the flooding issues. We finally came up with $50,000 that we could hire an engineer that is now doing work to figure out why we had those flooding issues. And then in the future, hopefully, we can come up with some money to address what the engineers find out. So it takes a while. I mean, we've been working on that for 3 or 4 years, and nothing's done yet. I mean, North and South Worcester Street traffic signalization, we spent $436,000 on engineering on that so far. Not a shovel in the ground yet. Soon, but everything takes money and time. As far as if you're going to accept a road, legal fees, you're going to have to hire appraisers to appraise the takings. Then you're going to have to pay engineers to design something. We just can't go out and not have an engineer design something, because then we're liable. And I know it came up from somebody one time that before the people on that street didn't want people driving down the street that didn't live there. I mean, those are the other things we got to address. If we're going to pave, then the road's open and people can go down the end of the road and access the lake from down there too. So it's so many things to talk about. We're 18 days from town meeting, so we don't have time to do it now, but we are committed to look at all the options and figure something out.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Sherry, we understand, we know, we're working on
I'm
it.
not going away.
I know.
Want them?
So, and yeah, can you have, let me.
All right, I'm going to let Nick speak. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And girls.
You make a good case. Nick Adams, I'm at 65 King Philip Road in Norton. You make a really good case, Sherry. I appreciate your enthusiasm, and I appreciate your patience. I understand the number of variables involved here, but I just have one primary question, and that is regarding surveying, because I'm not convinced that we have to take any land, that I think that the land is already there. And I know it's just an assessor's map, but they set aside a 40-foot wide road at the time that the master plan came down. So I did go to the Water and Sewer Commission last week to see that detailed, engineered water and sewer map that they had. It wasn't clear to me whether exactly where the extra land is, but there is a 40-foot wide road on the assessor's map, and it is referenced as such throughout the whole length of the road. So I don't believe you need to take any land. I believe what we have is a 40-foot wide right-of-way and only a 13-foot wide road. So the road only takes or utilizes half of the width that's available. So anyway.
So that right away has that 40-foot layout, they call it, in engineering. That is for all the utilities on the ground as well.
And they are utilized, yes, that's correct.
So
the detailed engineering drawing showed exactly where every pipe went for the water and the sewer. within the 40-foot right-of-way, or which, but my point is that it's owned by the town. There is no other owner on any of those 40-foot wide right-of-ways. There's no other person referenced who owns any of the square feet. And the next step that I wanted to do was not just the, what's the total assessment, what's the total taxes on the street report, but I'd also like to have any surveyor just look at the thing and basically say, look, does the town own this 40-foot wide road? We don't need to pay it the whole 40. I mean, if it was an oh, did you have a point?
No, Mr. Chairman, just one, Nick, you're a realtor, so you understand this. Have any of your neighbors recently had their property surveyed?
Yes.
Is there someone that we could take a look at there, maybe give to our town council, you know, what the actual dimension of the property was?
They have individual site plans which were done at the time to prove the frontage and the, you know, not, that you didn't build on somebody else's land. Just a basic plat, you know, survey map. And those are only $100, so, but I don't know. Do we have a surveyor on town, or do you have a surveyor who could take a quick look at it?
Okay.
Because I think we have a 40-foot wide. But again, we don't want to widen the road too wide, because that brings up the issue with Concom, and it has to be an emergency. We just want to do existing conditions, smooth road, and some of the owners have referenced that they don't even want it that wide because they don't want people to go any faster than they're going. So anyway, not asking for the moon, but we do want to keep in touch with you all.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Name and address?
Well, my name is Thomas Lincoln. I'm 105 King Philip Road. I know a few of you here and all my neighbors. I know a little history about the road. I've lived on the road for 57 years. I remember when towards the tail end of the road, I'd say in the 90s, back was just dirt. And the way they used to take care of the road was they would have a sander come down and tar. And then the sander would come back and they'd clean it up. Now, environmentally, you can't do that anymore. I agree that the road, you know, needs to be fixed. I know when it was paved previously after the sewer line was put in, it was a racetrack. You know, we actually had to ask people to slow down. If there's, I want to thank you for your consideration on this. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure that everybody else does. When that road was put in, it was primarily meant for summer cottages only, not year-round residences. And I've seen some of the maps because my great-grandfather put the road in and my grandfather put the rest of the road in. Now, again, that road was never meant to be wider than it is. And I don't see how you could possibly, and I've seen some of the old maps because my father has a lot of them, how you could possibly widen that road any more than it is, because there are too many people who are going to lose property along that road. There are some people, if you were to take 20 feet on the lakeside, they're going to walk out their front doors onto the street, which obviously is a safety concern. And not to mention, I don't think they're going to be too happy having the value of the property decrease that much. Is there any way, even if we went back to the areas that are really bad, putting millings down to cover or flatten the road so that we don't have the potholes in the certain areas? There's one right past, just past the swamp on the left that's really bad. If we could have some road millings put in there, which would cost next to nothing, and then have a machine come over and tamp it down, that would at least help or alleviate some of the issues we have going on right now. That's one question. But also, is there any type of federal grants that we could look at anywhere that anybody might know of? Or is it something we can research?
I believe, is Paul looking into any of that, right?
We can research, but in this day and age, federal grants are being pretty much wiped out. And we did, what you talked about millings is something that we've talked about that we're looking into.
Because the cost of millings would be fairly,
So the first step, Tommy, would be getting, his budget's maxed out right now at that $1,500, so we need to get that money into it. So we've been banging our head against the wall figuring out how to do that, and we think we have a plan moving forward to do that. So the DPW, highway director will be able to do that pretty quickly once that's done.
and it always has been a private road.
Yeah.
Now, to defer some of the costs, has the town council suggested any of the residents pitch in for part of that?
We would be all ears for that. We'd love to come up with some sort of solution.
You know, work hand in hand.
Yep.
All right, that's pretty much all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
How do you do? I'm Kevin Trunley, 117 King Philip Road. Now, I've only been here for 15 years on King Philip Road. I don't go back as far as you. But I will say this. Since I've been there, there's been some great things that have happened through you people to make that lake a lot better than what it was. I appreciate that, and I'm sure that all of us do. This is, I understand where we're at here. I appreciate the fact that Sherry has gone to great lengths to try to bring some points to you that we, as a neighborhood, we feel frustration, and I feel yours. All I want to do is look at you guys tonight and get your okay that we're going to work together to get this worked out.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you, sir.
I think we've already said that, and we've pointed that out in the past, that this is not something that we're trying to push aside. This is something that our frustration is not quite to the level of yours, but it's very frustrating to us that we can't find a way to do this right now.
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, could you give us a timeline if we do that? Is that going to go to, does it have to go to town meeting?
Yeah, that would go to town meeting and it'd be available July 1.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Yunus, I think the milling, we have that, right? We have a massive stack of this stuff.
Yes, he does.
I have a pickup truck, I can take
No problem.
Any other questions, discussion, comments?
Just one quick, I'll be quick.
Name and address, please.
Yes, hi, Karen Dalton, 113 King Philip Road. You had stated something about the real estate, was it sold to us as public or private? And it was sold to me as a public road. I do have a plot plan that says public road. So when you guys put that town storage in years ago, who was going to maintain it? That's, you were just going to pave it, leave it, and then we were going to take care of it. I didn't buy my house on a private road that I knew of. And right now, like, my husband just had neck surgery and heart surgery. It is safer for him to walk down that street than it is for me to drive him down that street in the car. He's really a prisoner in the house because I can't get him out.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments, questions?
I'll just add, obviously, we empathize with you. We're trying to find the best solution in the most legal way that we can. So we're conscious of the issue, and thank you for raising the issue to our attention.
Thank you,
I
guys.
just have a quick question. Because
Okay.
on the notes, do I have to go up
Yeah.
again?
Yeah? You gotta make us listen, you gotta come up here.
I'll bring you all lollipops.
Again?
All right, so
Sherry Savoy, 115 King Philip Road. You should know my name by now. Anyhow, can somebody explain what Chapter 40, Section 6 means under the general laws that I gave you? It's in order.
I'm not an attorney, so.
As I said, I would,
You need an attorney to understand
I
it?
would refrain and have an attorney.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
Advise.
Come on, guys.
you can only speculate just as well as you can, so.
If we misspeak, we're getting ourselves in hot water.
Yeah.
We don't want that to happen. Okay, well, Google it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. On to review, discuss, and a vote on annual and special town meeting articles. Mr. Humans.
Okay, start with the easy stuff. So, Finance Committee voted at their last meeting on Articles 5, 6, and 7. They took them all at once. No action. This is on the special town meeting. There is no need for any sewer enterprise operating budget supplements, no capital improvement fund appropriation at this time, and no capital improvement plan amendment at this time. So if the board wants to take those up, I recommend no action.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we take no action on Articles 5, 6, and 7 on the special town meeting warrant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's another article, FinCom has not taken it up yet, that's on operating budget supplements. I don't know if you want to, I can just go over that with you. Is that in your packet?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't get it on the screen, but
Yeah, it's not in the.
so what we're looking for under operating budget supplements, I'm going to be recommending the Finance Committee on Monday night, $1,400 be added to the Finance Committee recording secretary line item out of free cash, and $103,723 be added to snow removal expense, for a total out of free cash of $105,123. And then the next two, I'm going to be recommending $70,000 go into the reserve fund, and that would be transferred under the current unemployment line item. Right now, we have a balance of $262,401.80 in that account, and we have not spent any money since March on that. So we don't have anyone on there now. And the next item is Medicare expense, $20,000, and that too would come from the unemployment account. So that is
Through you, Chair.
3 if you want to vote on.
Yep.
Sorry.
Denise.
Mike, the last two,
Yep.
you said that nothing's been used since March. It's only been a month, so it's not like it's been a big runway.
Yeah, I know. But we had 280,000, we've only spent 18,000 all year, so I don't think we're gonna, and the reason, just to explain the reason I want to put 70,000 back in the reserve fund, we're down to 37,000 and we still have 2 months to go. We may not need it, it would just go to free cash anyways, but at least it would be available if something happens that the Finance Committee needs to approve a reserve fund transfer.
Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, sir.
Sorry, one more question. On the recording secretary and the snow removal, what's the reasoning for that added operating expense? We haven't had a lot of snow the last several years.
So that is just for this to cover what has been spent already this year. As you know, snow removal is that one account that we can deficit spend in. and we appropriate 80,000 every year. And I know there wasn't a lot of snow, but Jared can come up and talk to you about, we had a lot of sand and we had a lot of storms with ice. And
Yeah, it might be counterintuitive, but usually when you have a winter like this, there's a lot more sanding events, and we spent most of that budget, all on treated salt.
Okay. Thanks, Jared.
Jared, you spent $183,000 on snow removal this year?
Yes.
Okay.
And just to remind you, the only reason we keep it at $80,000 is because it's the only account they allow you to deficit spend. And if you say Jared spent $183,000 this year, let's budget $183,000 for next year, you can never budget less than $183,000 forever. You won't be able to deficit spend in that account.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we recommend Article 3 of the special town meeting warrant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On the annual, so on the annual, Finance Committee has taken action on Articles 5, 6, 7, and 9, which you have not voted on yet. Going backwards, Article 9, that's capital improvements appropriation, and right now we're recommending no action on that article. We'll see what we have in the fall as far as free cash, and hope we can put money into capital there. But the Finance Committee voted 6-0 for no action.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we take no action on Article 9 of the town meeting warrant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Article 5, let me get back to that. The Finance Committee voted 8-0 to recommend, and this would be amending the wage and salary plan to add that position for the Council on Aging. They did not vote the Council on Aging budget yet, but they did vote to establish this position in the wage and salary plan.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we recommend Article 5 of the town meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The other two articles the Finance Committee has voted on is the water enterprise budget and the sewer enterprise budgets, Articles 6 and 7. And Article 6, under personnel services, $1,293,072. Indirect expense, $594,807. Other charges and expenditures, $1,343,000, and debt service, $1,848,684, for a total of $5,079,563.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Units, I think you meant under other charges and expenditures, $1,343,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we recommend Article 6 of the town meeting.
Mr. Chair, I have one quick question first.
Yep, go ahead.
Mike, what is in other charges and expenditures? That's actually the largest of all buckets.
So in this budget, other charges and expenditures, that's for all their expenses for chemicals, engineering work they may need during the year, all their supplies, everything.
Sorry, Roger.
No, you're fine.
Did you?
I'll
Any
second.
motion? Was it second?
Yeah, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Article 7 is for the sewer department budget, personnel services, $398,471. Indirect expense, $168,522. Other charges and expenditures, $1,415,250. And debt service, $395,640, for a total of $2,377,883. And under other charges and services, the bulk of that is the MFN assessment for treatment of the sewer.
Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Mike, what are the indirect expenses?
Indirect expenses are, so for the things that, where it's an enterprise account, like health insurance, we know exactly what they pay for the full amount of the health insurance cost for their employees. Any other insurances that directly attributed to the water and sewer department and the two enterprise accounts they pay directly for. Then they pay a portion of salaries of employees in the town, that treasurer, collector, town accountant, myself. The portion of our salaries get attributed to water and sewer based on, we take the annual budget and the water budget and the sewer budget, what percent of the total budget they are.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mike, I see a decrease of $67,000 or so in personnel services. Is there one less person?
There was a retirement and lower salaries.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we recommend Article 7 at town meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And just to give you an idea, the costs, the treatment plant costs for the MFN are $985,800, and treatment plant costs to Taunton for that section that goes that way, $20,000. So the bulk of their other charges and expenditures is the treatment cost.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Mike?
Yep.
So what are we doing with Article 4? I see that the FinCom recommended to move that into the budget.
I'm going to bring that up with the finance committee. Should be no action, so, because it's still on the warrant, but we're not going to move it because we put that money in the budget. So recommend no action if you want to vote on that.
Sure. Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we take no action on Article 4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And Article 8, obviously, is the operating budget that's still being worked on. You have in your packet, I think the budget after the finance committee meeting the other night, so you can see some of the budgets that they have voted on. So I don't have that to show you on the screen, but I will tell you that as far as I know, the head count on the general government side, the only increase is that one position for the Council on Aging. We eliminated a part-time position in the Board of Health and added a part-time position in the Treasurer Collector's Office. And due to the lower salary for the position that's being added to the Treasurer Collector's Office, there's about a net of savings of $3,500 with that. My last budget, you can see, if you look at the revenue and expenditure sheets, I think I sent you two of them. So I was proposing to use 300-something thousand in stabilization, but a couple weeks ago it was brought up at the Finance Committee that they didn't think that was a good idea. And once we went through, all the needs we had was snow and ice, and so we knew what we had with free cash. I was able to fund the budget without using any stabilization. And also it came up at the FinCom the other night about direction from the select board, and really we had direction from the select board, 3% general government, 3% school, but that's kind of been blown out the window now. At the Finance Committee, it was suggested and the other night and approved to take $500,000 out of stabilization and give $500,000 to the school department, and also another $228,000 out of ambulance. And I mean, my concern is I'm not going to be here, but you know, next year what happens? It's if we do those things now, but that that's been the recommendation. It also came up at the meeting the other night from a few people saying that Chapter 70 has gone up. You know, if Chapter 70 goes up, why doesn't that go directly to the schools? And I did explain that Chapter 70 is a general fund revenue. And as I said to you in what I emailed to you, the Chapter 70, although it did increase, it increased by 2.4%, or $321,450. The tuition assessments increased 20%, or $265,000. So the net increase in education aid is $56,450. The teachers' health insurance alone probably went up about $539,000. So to say that Chapter 70 goes up, so the school budget should go up, there's other expenses too that we have to cover. And so it is a general fund revenue. It goes into the general fund, and then it's up to the FinCom and the town meeting to decide how it's spent. But it's not directed to the schools. It's a general fund revenue.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Mike, didn't we go through that last year when we had fall town meeting, when we had free cash? We were talking about how the Chapter 70 money had been increased and how they thought that that would go directly to the schools, but it's a general fund.
Through you, Chair.
Yes.
Mike, what was the one position you said that you eliminated? You added a council of aging, added a part-time treasurer collector.
Board of Health.
Board of Health, the assistant in the Board of Health.
And is there elimination of the position for highway?
In my budget recommendation, that position's not there.
The position is not inclusive, so one less than last year.
No, it was eliminated last year, and Highway was looking to add that position and another position. But that position was eliminated. It wasn't in the budget the current year we're in now, that position didn't exist.
All right, I'm confused. So how many people were in the budget last year for highway?
So Highway, right, this current fiscal year, or next fiscal year, they're looking to add 2 new people.
Just the straight number, like how many people are in the highway department right now for this fiscal year?
I didn't bring, how many?
Jared?
10 not including office admin.
And how many are in the proposed budget for 2026?
12.
Okay.
In his proposal, not your recommendation.
Right. Yep.
How many were recommended? How many did we recommend?
Me, I recommended 10. I didn't recommend an increase in the highway.
So in the fiscal 2026 town manager recommended doesn't include the additional 2.
No.
And as far as the 3% goes, I know it's been raised, I don't think we voted on it and agreed on it. My personal philosophy is that stating that 3% municipal side, whatever, 3% school, doesn't take into account what the actual needs are. And so I'm more inclined to look at what are the needs of the town to keep the services the same, if we can, or as close to the same as we can, versus just a blanket 3% and saying that's what we're gonna do. So I haven't heard the full scope of the impacts to the school yet, but I'd like to hear that part before we make any decisions on the budget.
And if you have any questions, reach out.
Okay.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chairman? Yeah, please.
Zach Tillis, 3 Richmond Drive, also a member of the Finance Committee. So I proposed a lot of this, so Mike, you can blame me. I got big shoulders, I can take it. But the view is, at least my view, I speak for myself, is we've gotten criticism for years is we come back in the fall with supplements and the departments can't plan, particularly the school department, where they have to let teachers know and so on and so forth. So I proposed that we gave them $500,000 from stabilization with the understanding there would be no supplements in the fall. And the intention, and I mentioned at the board, the intention is to return that money to stabilization at the fall town meeting. So now the school is funded for the year, there is no layoffs. The school says they could make it work and there would be no layoffs with that. I also proposed taking $228,000 from the fire ambulance reserve. That account, I believe there was $1 million roughly there, and building at about $140,000 a month of new revenue coming in from ambulance receipts. And then we also took $30,000 from unemployment, saying we're not laying anybody off, and we moved that into the police department to subsidize that budget. So we have not voted on the highway yet, we have not voted on the COA yet, but as of right now, as of today, as Monday I should say, the Finance Committee is not recommending any layoffs. The schools are funded, the fire department's funded, the police is funded, although they may need a slight supplement in the fall. But speaking for myself only, is preserve most of that free cash in the fall to use for capital improvements, put money into capital, put money back into stabilization, depending on what it is, and then the balance roll into next spring's budget. What that number is, I asked, nobody knows. Hopefully, it's in the $3 million range.
Until you know.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where we are. Again, the Finance Committee's not done with this yet, but the 3 major budgets at this point have been voted on.
And
Thank you.
just to, the beauty of what Zach's suggesting is that in the fall, other than some minor adjustments in budgets, you shouldn't have to do.
So that, that funding will be available for us to put some in stabilization back, fund our capital budget, and then have some money carrying over to the spring. And then everybody can say, well, we couldn't plan because we didn't know what the funding was going to be. They got their budgets.
And you will remind us, right?
What's that?
You will remind us.
Yes, I will.
Thanks, Zach.
Through you, Chair.
Yep.
I don't know if the intention was to vote tonight, but I was just gonna say, I haven't had a chance to go through all, okay.
No.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Anything else?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I see that the FinCom voted for no action on Article 12.
Is this the property for?
I'm sorry, yes. Habitat has requested that we hold up on this. This is the property. It's a great project that they're looking to do. And we took properties along this roadway, tax title, but it's a paper street, and that parcel was never taken. So Habitat's doing some work to see who the current owner is of that parcel, so they can purchase that, and then they'll come back later hopefully in the fall. But they're very grateful for everything that we've done for them on this, and they hope to come back. But no action right now, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we take no action on Article 12.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So, open session for topics not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance. Anything? Take a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Sure.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I be heard on the letter I sent to the board regarding the scheduling of the articles?
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Sure.
Sorry,
I didn't see it. I didn't see the letter.
I emailed it to, I owed you an email too. I called the select board's office, no one had responded. I sent it to the select board office and I sent it to each of you. Did you not receive it?
I did.
I received.
I saw it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
I must admit, I've been looking at the listings on the website, and I'm concerned in particular with the hearing on the MBTA project. On the website, it's listed as 24, and then when the planning board delivered something, it's now 17. I'm not sure where it stands now. My concern was there's 3 articles dealing with the bylaws, 2 of which are zoning bylaws and 1 of which is town bylaws. The reconsideration, recodification is item number 3, and you have the other item, which is MBTA, was 24 or 17. And I would like to ask the board if it's possible to move those up so they're all heard together. I think the last thing I saw was 3 was on the reconsideration and 5 was some of the town bylaws. I don't know why they're separated that much. In fact, the MBTA bylaw does reference some of the items that are on the reconsideration as it relates to the size of family, definition of family, and introduction of the mixed-use development. And I think it would be more appropriate to list them all together. In addition to which, I represent a community that's very interested in that project. It's an elderly community. And having them really almost at the end of this project, given reconsideration, would take them really late into the evening. And I would ask if the board would consider moving them up so that it's consistent with the other bylaw amendments and they're heard all at a similar time.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
My first thought is, yes, of course, but having been sitting in this chair for a year, I know that my first reaction is probably wrong. So I just want to, maybe we can take this up at our next meeting and vote on it then. I'd just like to see if there are any other considerations that need to be taken before we just do it.
I just don't know, has the warrant been gone to the printer yet for final printing?
Well, no, but I don't even know if that falls on us with the board. It falls on us or town moderator.
We'll look at it, but usually if the town moderator is willing to take things out of order. I can tell you the one zoning codification is the only reason we usually take up zoning articles at the end because we try and get the other town business out of the way first. And the only reason that codification is at the top is because the attorney that worked on that for us has another town meeting that night too. So we told him we'd put it up top so he can do that and then go to his other town meeting after ours.
I don't necessarily have a problem with, taking things out of order or changing them around. I just want to make sure that there's nothing else that we have to consider before we go to change.
Yeah, I just wanted, I was concerned, I know once it goes to the printer, there might be something else. That's why I wanted to bring it to your attention, because I saw this was on the agenda, and I was thinking maybe it didn't go to the printer yet. I believe once it goes to the town meeting, it's up to the moderator to make that decision. Prior to do that, I don't know if it's the town manager or this board that makes that decision, and I just ask your consideration.
We'll look into it. Now, did you send an email to our town email?
Yeah.
I sent it to,
The other select board member.
I'm not sure who, I sent it to
I
Jay
will,
Reed.
I will look at
You
it.
did read to it.
And we'll put it on the, you know, if it's something that we can act on, we'll put it on the agenda for the next,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir?
would it be advantageous to have town council available for this Article 17 anyway? If they're not going to be here at that point in the town meeting? That might-
Town council will be here.
Okay.
It's just the codification, there's an attorney that we got grant funding to hire who specializes in zoning bylaws, and he worked on our zoning bylaw, but we will have a town council.
Would that person be beneficial to have during the MBTA overlay vote?
I don't think necessarily they'd have to be there, no.
Did they work on it?
No, we didn't work it out.
Yeah.
Take a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.